The film begins with a violent attack, where we see humans transforming into zombies and beginning to assault people, causing the virus to spread with lightning speed throughout the city. Amidst this chaos and panic, we see a teenage girl named Kate trying by all means to save her mother. However, it becomes clear that her mother's condition is hopeless due to the extreme fear and terror she is experiencing. Kate is forced to flee and leave her mother behind. Years pass, and about 10 years later, Kate has grown up to become a mature woman and a skilled, dedicated doctor. One day, worried parents arrive with their young son, who has been infected with the virus, desperately needing help. Kate calmly and professionally reassures them that their son will receive the necessary care and monitoring throughout the treatment period. In this world, people infected with the virus do not turn into zombies immediately. Instead, they are injected with a specific protein called the return protein, which stops the virus from spreading in their bodies. The problem is that this treatment is temporary and must be taken every single day. If even one dose is missed, the virus reactivates, and the person transforms into a full zombie within 24 hours. Therefore, this treatment is a strict, lifelong commitment. The government and doctors call these infected people whose condition is stable the returned, and their situation has become a subject of great controversy in society. After a while, the parents who brought their son return to the hospital after receiving permission to take him home. Kate gives them clear and strict instructions that they must continue giving him the daily injections without fail, as this is the only way to keep their son safe and prevent his transformation until scientists find a permanent cure. This protein is their only hope. At the same time, we are introduced to Alex, Kate's husband, who works as a music teacher. One day in class, a student makes a silly joke mocking someone infected with the virus. Alex, who is himself one of the returned, is deeply annoyed and affected by this. He hides the truth of his illness from everyone except Kate and a small group of doctors who help him with his treatment. To ensure Alex never misses a dose, Kate secretly buys and stockpiles extra injections of the protein, even though laws limit the amount that can be legally dispensed. She knows that the protein is extracted from the spinal fluid of dead zombies, a substance that is very difficult to obtain. If production stops at any time, people like Alex could face a deadly fate. One night, Alex and Kate host a dinner party at their apartment, inviting their close friends Jacob and his wife Amber, who works as a writer. While they are eating, Amber tells them stories from her new book, and then the conversation takes a serious turn. In a moment of vulnerability, Alex decides to reveal the truth. He tells them he is one of the returned, and begins to recount how he was infected years ago. He was going to a musical instrument shop to buy a guitar, but instead of looking at instruments, he saw the shop owner collapse on the ground, shaking. Alex ran to help him, but amidst the chaos, he got scratched. This simple scratch transmitted the infection. He was then taken to a military hospital where they tested the protein treatment on him in its early stages. Luckily, his response to the treatment was good, and he was later transferred to a civilian hospital where he met Kate. Although the atmosphere of the dinner becomes a bit tense, Jacob and Amber remain supportive of their friend. Despite the shock, they treat Alex exactly the same as before. The bond between them is strong, and their friendship is not easily shaken. The next day, Kate attends an important meeting to present a proposal for funding to develop a synthetic and permanent version of the protein. This new formula would eliminate the virus completely, freeing people from daily dependence on injections and the constant threat of transformation. However, while she is presenting, a man interrupts and objects to her proposal. He claims that investing in synthetic protein is a waste of time and money. From his point of view, the returned are dangerous, unstable, and mere ticking time bombs, insisting they should be quarantined away from healthy society. Kate, who is naturally upset and emotionally shaken since her husband is one of the people this man considers a threat, stands up and confronts him powerfully. She states that the returned are human beings just like everyone else and deserve mercy, support, and a chance to live a normal life. She defends the synthetic protein project passionately as the only humane long-term solution. Kate's moving speech touches the hearts of many present, as her words hold strong sincerity. Gradually, people begin to nod in agreement. The man who objected looks annoyed and finds himself isolated, withdrawing from the discussion, unsatisfied with the result. The next day, while Kate is working at the hospital, a disaster strikes. the hospital is suddenly attacked by an extremist group against the returned. These extremists believe that the returned are no different from zombies and pose a great danger to society. In this brutal attack, the rebels kill several returned patients who are being treated, doing so with savagery and without mercy. Kate, witnessing this horrific incident with her own eyes, stands in shock. The violence, loss, and cruelty are beyond what she can bear. Her heart breaks as she realizes how much people have been manipulated to fear the returned and see them as monsters rather than humans. The following morning, still devastated by the attack, Kate goes to the hospital director, Dr. Dave, and asks for a month of leave. He agrees to her request, understanding the trauma she has gone through. Kate is determined to protect her husband at any cost. She goes to meet Eve, a woman who deals in the black market and has been secretly helping her get extra doses of the return protein. However, Eve tells her that the supply has become very scarce after the recent attack, and she doesn't have much left. Kate desperately begs her to gather as much as possible, stating she is ready to pay any price as it is a matter of life or death. Although Eve doesn't know who the protein is for, she senses the danger in Kate's voice and agrees to help, looking genuinely concerned for Kate's safety. Before leaving, Eve warns her that she heard rumors that the same group that attacked the hospital is now targeting the returned themselves using patient lists stolen during the attack. When Kate hears this, she is terrified. If these attackers have the records of everyone treated at the hospital, it is only a matter of time before they find Alex's name and location. Her fears are confirmed when she returns home to find Alex being attacked by a stranger, one of the extremists who clearly has confidential information about the patients. After they get rid of the attacker and dump his body in a remote place, they understand that any trace of him could bring other attackers to them. Realizing they are no longer safe, Kate and Alex decide to flee. They pack their belongings and start putting their limited stock of protein into an icebox. As soon as they finish their preparations, the doorbell rings. It turns out to be Jacob and Amber, their close friends, coming to check on them and offer help. They suggest that Kate and Alex come to hide at their house. However, Kate and Alex politely refuse, not wanting to involve their friends in this danger or make them targets for the extremists. Instead, they decide to stay in a small hotel temporarily. A few days later, while they are quietly having dinner at a restaurant, Kate and Alex are surprised by Jacob and Amber showing up again. The friends insist they are worried about their safety. Jacob explains that coordinated attacks have happened in many places in the city, including other hospitals, and that the situation is deteriorating rapidly, with the returned being hunted down. He begs them to reconsider and come stay at their house, which is much safer. With no other options and the danger increasing, Kate and Alex agree. After staying there for a day, Kate begins to feel lucky to have such loyal friends. One night, while sitting together, she tells them that she will meet Eve the next day to get 60 doses of protein, after which they plan to leave the area completely. She explains she doesn't want to expose them to any more danger, as they have helped enough. The next morning, Kate goes to Eve's location, but what she sees terrifies her. Eve has been murdered, and the crime scene clearly indicates another attack by the rebels. While examining the place quickly, Kate finds something small on the floor, a broken fingernail. To her shock, she recognizes it as Amber's nail. This truth causes her to break down. She calls Alex immediately and tells him to look in the protein icebox. Unfortunately, the entire supply has disappeared. Their worst fears have come true. Jacob and Amber betrayed them and stole the protein supply. Alex collapses, knowing his entire life depends on these daily injections, which are now gone. This betrayal is not just cruel, it could be fatal. On the other side, we see Jacob and Amber opening the icebox in their hideout. It is revealed that Amber herself is one of the returned. She stole the protein to secure herself, meaning their stance as supportive friends was nothing but a calculated plan for her to preserve her own life. We return to the house to find Kate more determined than ever, refusing to let Alex die. With time running out fast, she decides to go out and look for any final source where she might find protein. At this time, Alex is still in the apartment when he receives a call from Jacob. On the other end, Jacob is breaking down in tears and apologizing. He tries to justify what he did, saying he couldn't bear the thought of losing his wife Amber, who is also one of the returned. Despite his anger and pain, Alex still begs his friend, asking him to return even a few injections just to get him through a few more days, saying he isn't ready to leave Kate like this. However, Jacob, blinded by fear and selfishness, simply refuses. He has no intention of helping. This response crushes Alex. He begins to comprehend the bitter reality that his time is running out and no help is coming. In the silence following the call, Alex begins to think about what he can do to protect Kate in his final hours. He remembers a zombie he saw chained up before and begins to face the reality of his own impending transformation. We return to the hospital where a protest is taking place. A large group of families of the returned have gathered, protesting and demanding that the production of the life-saving protein be resumed. Inside, Kate begs Dr. Dave, the hospital director, pleading with him to save her husband's life. At first, Dave hesitates, but eventually his humanity prevails. Dave takes Kate to a secret storage room inside the hospital, a place very few know about. There, he shows her a stockpiled amount of protein injections. He tells her this isn't a permanent solution, but it is enough to keep Alex alive until the new synthetic formula is approved and available to everyone. Kate thanks him from the bottom of her heart with immense joy. With the protein in hand, she calls Alex immediately to give him the good news. Alex feels a huge relief upon hearing this. However, what they don't know is that someone overheard their call. This person, who is already unstable, begins to act crazily and attacks Kate to take the protein. He actually takes it and runs. Kate steps on the gas with all her speed and hits the man, who flies into the air and dies instantly. However, unfortunately, all the injections scatter on the ground and shatter, breaking her dream of saving Alex along with them. A little later that same day, Kate returns to the apartment with a heavy heart. The despair they are in, the danger surrounding them constantly, and the thought of losing Alex weigh heavily on her. She finds Alex looking much weaker and tells him everything. They hug each other tightly, both understanding that the situation is slipping from their hands. At the same time, Alex's condition worsens, his body collapses, and the virus begins to win. He looks at Kate and tells her he doesn't want to turn into something bad. He doesn't want to be a monster. Kate listens, her eyes full of tears. She doesn't want to leave him, but deep down she understands. In the end, Kate fulfills his final wish. As much as it breaks her, she lets him go in peace before the virus takes control completely. The pain is unbearable. After this tragedy, Kate, with a burnt and broken heart, leaves the apartment. As soon as she steps out, she finds Dr. Dave coming towards her, looking excited. He tells her he was trying to reach her, but she wasn't answering. She is in a state of daze and silence, just looking at him. Here, Dave gives her news that turns her life upside down. Just a few hours ago, the government officially announced that the synthetic version of the protein has been successfully completed. This new formula is permanent and can cure the virus completely. When Kate hears this, she is shocked. Her mind spins with disbelief, pain, and regret. In the very moment a real cure exists, it is too late for Alex. She collapses crying, devastated by the loss from which there is no return. The timing couldn't have been crueler. Months pass, and Kate is now living alone as a widow. She bought the house she and Alex had dreamed of. Although her life has changed forever, a part of him still lives with her. She is pregnant with his son. In the final scenes, we see Kate sitting in her office quietly working on something. She is gathering information, reviewing files, and preparing for something specific. It becomes very clear that she hasn't forgotten the betrayal. She is tracking Jacob and Amber, and her eyes hold determination and quiet resolve. Whatever is coming, she is no longer just sad. She is planning. With this, the film ends.